This show is part of the RetroZap.com podcast network.
And welcome, everybody, to another Freakazoid episode of the Animanicast.
No doubt Longhorn's up to some evil plan. I'd better find him without delay!
Hey, Freakazoid.
Oh, hi, Cosgrove.
Want to go see a bear ride a motorcycle?
Do I? Let's roll!
Hello, and welcome, everybody, to another episode of Freakazoid and Friends. This is the spin-off series of the Animanicast. We are the only podcast that lets you freak out about Freakazoid. Here we pick a random sequential episode, revisiting all the cultural references and gags, and in the end, we're going to give this episode of Freakazoid a Water Tower rating. I am Joey, and joining me once again is my brother Nathan.
Don.
Done. I can see you. And joining us across the country in Georgia, it's Kelly.
Hello.
Hello. Well, we have a very exciting episode of Freakazoid to talk about today. Of course, we're going through Pinky and the Brain, Tiny Toon Adventures, Freakazoid and Animaniacs discussions. Today, it's Freakazoid's turn. Once again, one of the, I would say, Steven Spielberg-produced cartoons that is overlooked these days by some, mainly at Hulu, because it's not streaming on Hulu. Oh my gosh. But you can find this episode of Freakazoid. You used to be able to watch it on Verve, which is just a streaming service for cartoons and anime. And guess what? You can't do that anymore. They got rid of it on Verve. That's right. So, the place you can watch episodes of Freakazoid, number one, you should just get the DVD.
The DVD, it has bonus contents.
Exactly. In fact, you can go to amazon.animanicast.com. You can find a link right there to get your own. Or, there's places online that people just put them up there too. But the quality is really bad, and you don't want to do that.
No.
And we are not endorsing that at all.
Exactly.
No, not at all. So instead, you should totally get the DVDs. Check them out. They have some fantastic special features. It's the 25th anniversary of Freakazoid this year. Wouldn't it be awesome if I have no information about this. I'm just theorizing. Wouldn't it be awesome if they put a Blu-ray of this out? Or at least a re-release of the two seasons on DVD? I think that would be awesome. Or at least Hulu, just put it up on streaming so people can watch it. Anyway.
So many options.
Freaka rant over. Today we are going to be talking about episode 8 of Freakazoid. It includes the segments Hot Rods from Heck, A Time for Evil. Ooh, that must be a very exciting segment right there. And of course, it just talks about the Freakmobile, and it also has some really great public interruptions. I was going to say public service announcements, but more like just interruptions from Joe Leahy telling us various things. If someone were to ask you about this episode in just a few words, what would you tell them, Nathan?
This episode makes me want to buy a Freakmobile.
Yeah, me too.
Toy.
And Kelly, what about you?
It's freaky.
It is. I think you've used that description before
On every
but
single
we will accept it. We will accept it. We will continue to accept it until you find a different thing to describe Freakazoid.
Is Animani.
It's zany. It's Animani. Totally insane. Citizen Caney. No. Well, let's go ahead and get into our description. But before we do, I'm getting ahead of myself. Nathan, please tell us, when did this episode first premiere?
Okay, Joey, this episode premiered on a Saturday in November of 1995. It was actually November 18th, to be precise. And this was when Pierce Brosnan picked up where Dalton left off as James Bond in the new GoldenEye after a 6-year hiatus, which was the longest gap between Bond films to date.
How much of a gap?
6 years.
That's not that big of a gap, but okay.
Yeah, no.
I mean, Star Wars got nothing on that.
Yeah. Well, for Bond films.
Yeah.
That's the longest. The next one, I think, is Spectre. And this one
I've
that's coming
gone
out
through
is
bigger
5
gaps
years.
of Bond films and of watching them. So
Okay, well, fine.
and that's not a big deal for me.
Also, the movie American President came out that same day.
Which I don't know
That's
that.
that's the one, Aaron Sorkin, and
Oh,
it's like he's
Yeah.
a president and he falls in
Aaron
love.
Sorkin's the president?
No, not Aaron Sorkin.
It's Michael Douglas, right?
Yeah, Michael Douglas is the president.
Yeah.
Aaron Sorkin wrote it. It's kind of like West Wingy. It feels kind of like
Well,
we're watching.
I would
an
think
episode
so
of
with
West
Aaron
Wing.
Sorkin, yeah.
Yeah. Will Ferrell, Sherry O'Terry, and Daryl Hammond all joined the cast of SNL this day. And this was just 2 days before Super Nintendo released Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's
Oh.
Quest.
Good game.
Is it?
An excellent cast of Saturday Night Live. I remember
Yes.
getting the Rolling Stone cover for the new cast of Saturday Night Live. That was such a changing year, but yay for Saturday Night Live. Anyway,
Yeah, it's great news. It's a big Saturday.
let's go and get into our discussion of Freakazoid right here. And we're going to start off with Hot Rods from Heck. Well, Hot Rods from Heck was written by John P. McCann and was directed by Ronaldo Del Carmen. And, of course, before this, we have a great, interruption,
I love you. Now, back to our show.
which is, I think, very sweet. So thank you very much, Joe, for that. But, Nathan, why don't you tell us what happens here with Hot Rods from Heck?
All right. Well, Dexter and his family are all on a car trip. They're heading to see, I guess, their grandfather or something.
Yeah, Duncan's been hitting me in the arm for the last 140 miles.
What's the matter, you little baby? Can't take it?
Pipe down or I'll climb back there and butter your heads, huh?
You boys have been full of ginger the entire trip. Now settle down before we reach your grandpa's place.
I don't want you giggling at his cardboard hat. He's not well.
Then these speed demons come by. They're not humans in these hot rods next to them. There's
They're
some sort
dead
of,
people.
Yeah, they're dead people or they're robots or something. So, anyways, they end up driving them off the road and they crash and find out that, yeah, these are indeed just robots controlled by Longhorn and his minion or whatever.
Goon.
His goon.
Yeah.
And we find out Longhorn's backstory. He was just this common criminal, and then to avoid the cops, he became a steer.
Which makes perfect sense.
They're looking for a human. They're not looking for
the steer. Yeah.
No, he's more inconspicuous. So I
Yes.
guess that's the idea.
He had a great name, too. I don't have that in the show notes, but his name, John P. McCann, we should mention, has some great writing of names in this, both in the opening credits of this Hot Rods from Heck thing with Joe talking about the different people starring in this thing that never show up.
Hot Rods from Heck, starring Ruth Canto, Mimsy Lee, and Weena Mercator as the Hopping Woman, directed by Dobie Atwood Jr.
It's something Bull or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll play it right here.
Who is this beast man? Who is this bovine boy with horns on his head and a ring through his nose? Born in Odessa, Texas, his real name was Jubal Nixon, and he worked at a Johnny Cat factory selling bags and bags of Johnny Cat until turning to crime.
Yeah, I love that name. Anyway, it's a cool name.
Yeah, it's a great
John P. McCann writes the best names in cartoons, in my
Right.
opinion.
Just a fun little. So his plan is to steal a nuclear device and not hold the world ransom, but hold Nashville ransom, so that they will give him an album because he's a country singer, and he even sings a little bit, but he doesn't sing very well.
He sings some songs that are really like twisted. Like one's about going into a banjo shop, like he's singing from heaven. He says, "I'm singing up from his big rig in the sky." After he crashed into a banjo shop.
Jamming gears and eating pie in my big rig in the sky. Since the day I crashed into a banjo shop.
And the other one's about a woman who would have been 56, but she fell out of his car going down Highway 5 near San Jose.
That was another gem, Longhorn.
I like to think you aren't just being polite so's I won't whomp on you with my big round hooves.
So they're a little weird,
a little dark for cartoons,
dark,
but
that's
yeah,
great.
So kids don't listen to the lyrics.
No.
But his plan goes awry when Freakazoid, well, right now it's Dexter, he realizes that, that's Longhorn, so he freaks out, becomes Freakazoid, and first Cosgrove comes and they watch a bear on a motorcycle, and then he realizes that he should do something to stop this hijacking or stealing of the missile device.
Yes.
So, he does that.
He did it. He does it.
But then Longhorn doesn't like that he did that.
No.
So he chases him in his truck, and there's this long chase scene. It actually goes into the sky.
It goes into a commercial, too.
Yeah, it goes into a commercial.
Man, did I ever skunk Longhorn! That steerhead is probably still trying to figure out. Oh, nut bunnies! He must get the same jet pod catalog I do.
Then he's like, all right, so he goes underwater. And then he crashes and he forgets.
Oh, that's right. This car was never designed to operate underwater. Wow! That was important, and I forgot it!
But Longhorn's truck can do that, so oh my gosh. He ends up just outrunning. He can run as fast as a car. We all know he doesn't need a car.
Or, more importantly, Longhorn was courteous enough to not drive that fast when Freakazoid wanted to just go down the freeway
we don't know
going
how
about
fast he's running.
Good 10, 15 miles per hour, I think.
Freakazoid's got a plan though, so he runs straight into Wrigley's Field, where it's a 7th inning stretch where they have to sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," and Freakazoid changes the lyrics a little bit.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd.
Bind me with rope and a sailor's knot. Send me to jail where I'll sleep on a cot, 'cause you broke the law. Off you go to the can, for it's 1, 2, 3 years away. I'll send you spam. I like me.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah, so pretty simple plot. I mean, the missile wants to get stolen.
As far as Freakazoid plots go, yeah, it's pretty simple.
And Freakazoid, it takes a while for Freakazoid to actually come in.
Yeah, I like his line. That was more exposition.
Oh, freak out!
Wow, that was a long wait. This is more story than I'm used to. Time to take care of business!
But yeah, a lot of really cool moments in here. Let's go over some of the cultural references that were in here. And there's a great Tumblr out there called Freakazoid References Guide. And I'm not exactly sure who did this, but they did a great job, I think. First of all, Hot Rods from Heck. I mean, it's very similar to a lot of B-movie stuff that you would see. Honestly, I see them on Mystery Science Theater. Mm-hmm. Things like Side Hackers and stuff like that, where he's just about racing cars or motorcycles, and just put a whole plot around these bad boys of racing or something.
Yeah, you just have stock footage of
movies
cars.
movies like Beatniks.
Yeah,
who is very important to the history of one very famous composer, I believe.
Yes.
Who tell us what happened with that B movie there, Kelly?
Well, I don't know what happened with the movie, but I'm sure you're talking about John Williams.
Of course, Johnny Williams. I think he's on the credits of that B movie.
The one I was thinking of was Daddy-O.
Oh, Daddy-O. I'm sorry. Yes, you're absolutely right. It wasn't Beatniks, which was a different Mystery Science Theater. They're very similar plots. It's hard for me to get them. They get confused. But yes, Daddy-O was I think it was John Williams' first composing job.
I believe so, because I watched it when it aired on Mystery Science Theater, and I was like, what?
Yep.
No. And so I looked it up, and sure enough, it was John Williams.
Yep.
But yeah, I think he was credited as Johnny
Williams. There's the Freakalair has some cool stuff, and it's very much obviously reminiscent of the Bat Cave with a bunch of stuff everywhere. But there's a blimp hanging out from the top of the ceiling. It says "Rad" on it, and
I'm
of course
glad that it's now canon though. The Freakmobile.
The Freakmobile has been officially confirmed that it's going to stick around in this series, which is cool.
In the first episode, now it's
which is very important, and it's a very massive structure. Apparently, it takes up hundreds of miles because it's under the desert as well. It's very don't think about it, folks. It's there. You can be anywhere. It's everywhere and anywhere you want it to be. Well, anyway. There's a rad blimp hanging from the ceiling, which is similar to Mad Magazine, has a blimp that shows up in some of their, magazines and stuff. They mentioned Tony Danza.
Get ready. It's time now for 7 hours of Tony Danza.
If you don't know who Tony Danza is, well, he's in a bunch of stuff, and his name is Tony in those shows.
He's the boss, right?
He is not the boss. I think Mona was the boss.
Oh, I thought Bruce is the boss.
Bruce is the boss?
Springsteen, baby.
Oh, you say baby too? Well, anyway. So, yes. So, and a lot of Batman stuff with the Freakmobile being, I don't know. It felt kind of James Bond-ish, actually, when they were going into the water and he was touching all the buttons. It kind of felt like James Bond
That's set up, though.
Switching his car to Aqua mode, which, unfortunately, Freakazoid didn't realize until they crash into the sea floor that it
just starts filling up with water. It's
great moment. Anyway, that's it for references of note, really. But let's start with Kelly. Kelly, what were some things in this that you thought were funny or amusing?
When his brother kept hitting him in the car and Dexter kept complaining, and his mother said something like, y'all been so gingered since this whole trip, and I don't even know what she meant by that, but it was funny the way she said it.
And Douglas it says something to the effect of "Stop it, or I'm going to butter your heads" or something.
Yeah, they had some weird phrasing.
Yes, I love it. Words and weasels. Of course, John P. McCann voicing Dexter's dad right there, Douglas. So, and of course, they have a good fight once again, or wrestling thing once again with Freakazoid and Duncan.
Mm-hmm. It's the blue guy again!
Let's wrestle. Can you sing the lyrics to "I'm a Tugboat, Call Me Mel"? Try it.
I'm a tugboat. Ow!
Ah, that was a tough one because I just made up that song. See ya.
I love that moment. Nathan, what were some stuff that you liked?
I like that Duncan is thought to be insane at the end of the episode.
That's true. The blue guy.
And you weren't around to help when that blue guy jumped me again.
You're the only one who ever sees this blue guy, Duncan.
He's real!
Well, of course he's real to you, dear, but that's because you're probably insane.
But yeah, of course, just the crashing underwater is, I think, the highlight for me. Just so great.
Yeah. Maurice LaMarche, by the way, voices the Longhorn right there. He's probably my least favorite Freakazoid villain. Just because he's not the funniest guy.
And he's not, like, intimidating either.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like, oh, he's not funny. At least he's a cool villain where you could be like, oh, I could play with this toy or something. But, like, I would never want a Longhorn toy. Cause, like,
no. We definitely want a toyetic Freakmobile, which toyetic is actually, I didn't find this out till years and years later, that toyetic is an actual word. I was watching The Toys That Made Us.
Oh, really?
And they actually talk about, like, the Star Wars toys and how toyetic they are. And so, yes, toyetic is a real word. It was not just made by Freakazoid, which I just thought it was a Freakazoid word for so many years.
How toyetic can you get?
Toyetic is a word created by marketing people. It means an object or device featured in a cartoon that could easily become a mass-produced toy.
I so wish that they actually made these, like, toys, because I think Freakazoid would have done better, too. Like, I think it would have been more popular with...
I would have bought a Freakmobile.
Yeah, and then, like, it kind of... It fuels each side of it. Like, the toys make kids want to watch the show, and watching the show makes you want to buy the toys. It's like it makes for a successful show. I wish.
I know it's so sad that it took just until recently with Kid Robot releasing those little pins and collectible figures, boxed figures that I've never gotten because I don't want to pay $50 for a Freakazoid figure right now. But no Freakmobile.
Yeah.
To this day. So I don't know. One of you companies out there should get going on that. I'll buy one. I promise.
Yeah, we'll post a link to it somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. Well, there was some really great moments. I mean, just little things like
Longhorn thinks he has me, but I've got a trick. Oh, what a good trick this is! If there were a degree for trickery, I'd be a master trickster.
And is it who does the Good Day, the voice of
Paul Harvey.
That's having Paul Harvey coming back.
Yeah, Paul Harvey making that return right there for the exposition of showing the bad guy. Yeah, put him in there. A lot of cool moments. And the music I was listening to, especially when he's getting the Freakmobile, the one that runs. That's why he picks it. The composing of the music right there gets really jazzy, and it's just really cool when it's just this long scene of just the Freakmobile going through the ground and going through the tunnel and everything. I don't know, it's just like listening to it and digging the music. So good job right there, Mr. Richard Stone with the music. I'm assuming Mr. Richard Stone did that. Maybe it was the Bernsteins, but either way, whoever was involved, absolutely fantastic job. Very jazzy Freakazoid stuff going on. Before we get to our next segment, we have another interruption. Joe can see us.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message. I can see you. Now, back to our show.
So, it's creepy. But then we move on to A Time for Evil. A Time for Evil is the first Huntsman short. And it was written by John P. McCann, and it was directed by Jack Hyder. And Kelly, why don't you tell us what happens here in this very important story of A Time for Evil?
Okay. It sort of starts out where a guy blows into this horn, and you kind of get the feeling that it's kind of like the bat signal or something. So who is it going to summon? And apparently it's the Huntsman. And he has his own theme song, and he kind of looks like Robin Hood a little bit. And
Green Arrow, maybe too. I think I kind of got little vibes.
Green Arrow
and Charlton Heston.
But the Green Arrow reminds me of Robin Hood.
Yeah, Green Arrow is based on Robin Hood, I would assume.
Well,
right.
Sure.
Go to the source, man.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's true. Okay, he's Robin Hood. Okay.
All right. Anyway, so the theme song is his backstory, and he was a poor hunter named Marty Phoebe, and he was hungry, and he saved a chunky elf. And I could have sworn, and I think this is funny to mention, that I thought they said junkie. I thought maybe this druggie was out there in the forest, and he saved him or something. But no, it's a chunky elf, and he saved him from being eaten by a crow. And the elf gave him a bag of corn, and he ate it, and then he got strength and speed and shiny teeth. And that turned him into the Huntsman.
The elf rewarded Marty Phoebe with a magic sack of corn. He gained strength and speed and shiny teeth, and as the Huntsman was reborn. Hunt, 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 he's the Huntsman. He'll rip the pants on the bad guys. If there's an emergency, sound the horn of urgency and summon the Huntsman. Into action is his ride.
whenever there's a problem, they sound the horn of urgency, which is sort of like the bat signal. And then he leaps into action as the Huntsman. And so then after the intro is over, it goes into the actual episode, which really is basically him going into the police station and talking to the guy there and saying he's ready for some action and where is it? And the guy's reading the newspaper sitting at his desk and there's nothing going on. He said it's a downtime for crime and it's just slow and there's really nothing to do.
Sorry, Huntsman, but nothing's cooking right now.
Is that why you haven't sounded the horn of urgency?
What can I say, Huntsman? I'm 21 years on the force and I've never seen things this slow. It's sort of a crime downtime.
Darn it.
The Huntsman says that, well, I'll be at my brother's house, and he starts giving all his information. He's at this address, and he's in the phone book under this name, and
he lives over on Wally Schirra Terrace.
That's a nice neighborhood.
Okay.
He just wants to make absolutely sure that if there's a problem, that he'll be contacted. And the cop says, well, I don't think we'll need you, but thanks. So he goes out in the hallway and kind of starts pitching a fit and knocks over the water bottle. And then it finally segues into him rounding up some bank robbers, I believe.
With the closing theme song.
Yeah, it's not actually.
And that's about it.
Yeah, there you go. Good old Huntsman. The most anticlimactic hero in history, I think. Oh my gosh.
But his teeth are shiny.
We thought Lord Bravery had nothing to do. I mean, the Huntsman's just begging for work and no one will help him out. Must feel bad. I mean, you have a job. You get all these powers.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to use them. And just, you're out of work. It's like he's in the unemployment line. Anything today? Nothing.
Why are things so slow? Darn, oh darn.
Poor Huntsman, but very, I thought, funny in the sense that nothing happens.
Well, yeah, this theme song is
great
just so
theme song.
great. It's one of the best theme songs.
Marty Phoebe was such a skinny, ugly-looking guy. He turned into a very muscular, weird-looking guy.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, looks like Charlton Heston, sounds like Charlton Heston. I just expect him to say, "You darn dirty ape." Darn. But I like this. There's I guess there's one reference which I never found out until today, looking at our lovely Tumblr right here, Freakazoid References Guide, saying Wally Schirra Drive. He was one of the pioneers of space travel. He was the first man to go into space 3 times, and the only man to fly in all 3 of America's first space programs. So that's where the Huntsman's brother lives, on Wally Schirra Drive, a guest home or something. God, it's just the most. I empathize with the Huntsman in this thing. Like, just, hey, if you need me, just dragging his feet on the way out the door.
But yeah, the captain just reading his newspaper. Just yep.
And it felt like Batman the Animated Series, I guess, a little bit with the intro. Or I think the crashing through the end to get the bank robbers felt very Batman Animated Series opening.
I can see that.
Kind of just not really showing much animation necessarily, but more showing the picture kind of moving. So not sure what that animation technique is called, but it looked cool for the intro. Anyway, I know we summarized the whole thing pretty well. But
I don't think
Nathan, anything else?
We went over the entire thing.
I
don't know.
That's good stuff, though.
I know, it's all gold and short too. So.
It's as gold as corn. Kelly, anything? Now, this is your first time watching. I knew what the joke was going to be coming up for this one. Kelly, what did you think getting into this Huntsman thing, watching it for the first time? Were you disappointed or just surprised that nothing actually happens in this one?
Yeah, well, I kind of went back because he knocked down the water cooler, and then the next thing, he's rounding up some bank robbers. And I'm like, did I miss something? What was the significance of knocking over the water cooler? Was there something about the hallway or something? I feel like I missed something there. No, I didn't. And so I was like, okay, that's all there is.
Yep. He just has a
out to his
slow day.
brothers, yeah.
Well, I'm sure the next time we see the Huntsman, it'll be much better. He'll
Yeah.
get something to do next time.
I do like
right?
his next one a lot. So
Okay, good. Okay, so I'll get some more action next time. Well, let's go ahead and get to the ending parts right here. Of course, Joe has another special announcement that he's a deep-voiced woman.
I'm actually a deep-voiced woman. Now, back to our show.
Which is good. Good to know. And finally, we get a toyetic presentation where it's been announced that the Freakmobile will now be on toy stores everywhere, and Freakazoid counts his money.
What can I say? It's part of my contract.
And again, very disappointing that never actually happened. Wanted a Freakmobile, never got it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well. But that's it for the episode. So let's go ahead and get to our water tower rating. All right, out of 5 water towers, how many would you give this episode out of 5? Nathan, let's start with you.
Me?
Yes.
I'll go with 2.5, I think. I always remember seeing this a lot. I really like the Huntsman one, but then I just remember seeing it as a kid a lot and being like, it's so long. That first segment, I think, I don't know. I just don't like Longhorn as the bad guy, I guess. I don't know what it is. So It's funny. It's funny. I just remember not enjoying watching reruns of it.
Yeah, this one's, I don't know. Yeah, I see where you're going. I see where you're going.
So 2.5.
2.5. My goodness. Okay.
No, I don't know.
Kelly, let's go with you.
Well, I was going to be nice and give it 3. But I think based on Joey's Nathan's review.
Oh? I'm like, I haven't said anything yet.
2, because I don't think I liked it as much as he did.
Well, I don't,
because I didn't find it funny.
Well, I'm gonna go to 5 then. No.
No, I did like the Huntsman music. The song was really cute.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked the look of the dead people driving the cars, the robots or whatever they were.
Yeah, my mom calls them dead people,
yeah.
Yeah.
The animation was good in the episode, but nothing made me laugh.
Oh.
At all.
Oh my goodness. Well, even though this is not one of my favorite episodes of Freakazoid, I'm thinking I'm going to be much more positive than you two.
Yeah.
I'm going to say a 3.5. I almost said 4, but I suppose in the grand scheme of Freakazoid ones, this is one that I am more likely to not pay as much attention to, even though there's really funny moments in this. And I do have, just memorable lines I really liked. But yeah, it's not, it doesn't have as many, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a pacing or something, but something about it is not quite as good. I'm going to blame Longhorn. I just don't like Longhorn, the villain, as much as the other villains.
I think if I just cut out all his singing, I think then you can add some other joke, another whole segment or something.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe that's enough. I don't know. But yeah, if I were to show episodes of Freakazoid to someone, I'd probably skip this one.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so much better episodes out there.
I see.
That's why I'm just like...
Okay. Well, 3.5 for me. I still like it a lot. I just don't like it as much as necessarily the other ones. It's not my top 10 Freakazoid, if that makes sense. Well, let's go ahead and get to our contact information. Nathan, where can people get in contact with you online?
Oh, Joey, I'm on Twitter. Django FT, that's me.
You sounded like Longhorn there.
Oh, Joey, I'm on Twitter.
And Kelly, what about you?
I'm also on Twitter, Yoda Princess, YODAPRNCSS. or email me, Kelly at BigShinyRobot.com.
All right, and as for the Animaniacast, we are on Twitter and Facebook and Instagrams, and of course we're over at Discord. If you're a Discord user, which heck, that's the place to go to if you want to really get into the specialized communities and stuff, have we got a place for you? It's the Retro Zap Discord group. We are a proud member of the Retro Zap Podcast Network, and we want you to come on over to join the conversations over there with all the other great podcasters and writers at Retro Zap. Here's what you can do. Here's your welcome link, okay? You go to discord.animanicast.com, and that'll take you right out in there. You can get a quick link, and you can join the conversation. Talk about Animaniacs, Freakazoid, Tiny Toons, Star Wars, or really anything pop culture over there. Some really great folks over there, so we'd love to have you come on over. Well, with that, that'll do it for today's episode. So for Nathan and Kelly, this is Joey saying good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
This podcast is not endorsed by Warner Brothers or Amblin Entertainment and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Animaniacs, Tiny Toon Adventures, Freakazoid, the Warner Brothers logo, all names, pictures, and sounds are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the Animanicast unless otherwise indicated.
They were dead people driving those cars. Oh, the very nerve.
They'll give a license to anyone.